I think now we are getting on YouTube. Just a second. Okay, now we are on YouTube. So hi, people from YouTube. I'm going to introduce myself, and that's it. I'm Mel Tavares. I'm from São Paulo. I like to learn languages, to practice speaking languages. I like animals, pets, and that's it. I like drawing, painting, all of these art things. How about you, Camila?
Hello, guys. My name is Camila. I am 39 years old. I live in São Paulo. I work as an accountant and I work in an energy company. In my free time, I like to read. I go to the gym sometimes, and I am here on Talk and Talk since April for this year. I am here to improve my English. I need to try immersion in Spanish too because I know a little bit and maybe French, but let's see. But I think that's it.
Very nice. So I'm going to tell how it works a little bit. You know it, but let's just be sure of it. Here in Talk and Talk, Talk and Talk is a platform where there are many conversations, many meetings that we can where we can communicate with other people and speak. So we are here to make mistakes. We are not here to be perfect. No, we are here to say something's wrong, and that's okay. We're not here to judge anybody, and that's it. So if you wanna, as Camila said here, we have many languages in conversations. So it's like English, French, Spanish, and Italian. Now I think there's Mandarin, and maybe there will be German too. So that's it, guys. And let's start with the first question. Okay. So, Camila, what does making a mistake mean to you?
Oh God. In general way, right? Not in just the studies.
Yeah.
Sometimes making a mistakes mean for me like shame, but I know this make part of the process because we don't like to make mistakes. We think we are perfect, but I know this is the part of the process. But it's a opportunity to rebuild your way to do the things, not only in English, but in life, I believe. I don't know. I think that's it. That's it. I cannot remember something really specific about making mistake, but it's not comfortable. I agree. It's not comfortable.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. It's common. Like,
hmm
we all make mistakes in many different reasons and contexts and situations and levels in life. So that's normal. And we shouldn't try to be perfect. Like, we should always be better. We can
hmm
always be better, do some things in a different way, in different ways to achieve new goals, and that's it. But as Camila said, it's not comfortable. We do not want to make mistakes, but we have to internalize that it's normal and we all make mistakes. So that's not there's nothing we can do about it, but to try to learn from the mistakes that we've made.
Yeah.
Camila, can you read and answer the next question, number two?
Yes. Is making a mistake bad? Why? Mm, I don't think it's truly bad for sure. I think we have to learn about it because even in a professional way or just in the studies, if you are trying to do something for the first time, of course you are going to make mistakes, and these make you understand and do something better for the second time. So I think you cannot do better for the first time. Because we are learning how to do the things. Even here in Talk and Talk, I guess we are dealing with the mistakes every day because we are trying to say things and learning from this mistake. So I believe I am learning every day here. And I don't think here is a bad thing, but I know in my professional way sometimes not so acceptable. You can find judgment for the others, and maybe your boss don't like too much, but I believe that's life. You have to pass through this, I believe.
Yeah, I think we all have to be prepared for different situations. So as Camila, as you said, in the corporative um,
Yeah,
ambience, no,
environment.
environment, yes, environment. It's not sometimes it's not acceptable like to make many mistakes, but in the just like this in this conversation, for example, while you're learning a new language, as we are doing, it's something really acceptable. Like we all make mistakes, we all didn't grow with another language, for example here, so in contact with other another language, and now we are trying to achieve that, to be able to express yourself in another language that wasn't even with you since you were born. So sometimes we get frustrated about mistakes, and I don't think it's something we should do, or to be too focused on not doing a mistake. We are not here to do that. We are here to make mistakes and to learn from them. So that's why I think this. And about the number three, let me see. How can we avoid making mistakes? What
Not
do you think?
living. Not living, because we are struggling with this since we are born, I believe. As you are talking about the question number two, and I was here thinking, if you start to study as a child, you are facing some challenges in making mistakes. So it's since we are born, I guess we are making mistakes. We are talking about the environment, corporative environment, and sometimes it's not acceptable, but should be, right, because no one need to know everything. And of course, we have the levels of mistakes, but I believe this make part of the process. And the internship, for example, we are like we have meme for this situation because the internship don't know how to do the things, how to, I don't know how to say that, how to present. So I believe this is common, but avoid making mistakes, in my opinion. I cannot say, I cannot see something that I cannot avoid a mistake, because years ago I was going to the gym with a personal trainer in the gym, and it was comfortable for me because I was with that feeling, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do these simple things, the simple movements. So I guess we don't like to the others seeing ourselves like a mistake or a person who doesn't know. So I guess we are worried about the opinions from the others. So because of this, making mistakes sounds more creepy, I believe.
Yeah, what you said. I maybe I think that it's something that it comes also from the other people's judgment. So
Mm-hmm.
it's something that we learn since kids, that it's wrong to make mistakes. We cannot make mistakes. If we make a few mistakes, our parents are going to be mad at us. They're going to punish us somehow. So it's always something that we avoid, to make mistakes. And one thing I think maybe we can do to do many well, to do less mistakes is like to observe no observe other people's mistakes so that we can learn from them
Mm.
without even going through the experience of
Mm-hmm.
making the mistake. So that's maybe something that I consider doing, and it's better for us not to learn from the other person's mistake and not to go through it, because we will find out the reason in the worst way, I'd say.
Yeah, I was reading something about the importance of the books because you can learn it for the life from the others. So I guess if you are reading a book, you can learn a lot. So I'm not a religious person, but I heard that the Bible, it's really important to learn things about making mistakes in life. So I believe we can learn for others persons too. It's a good example. I agree with you.
And do you think you said about the professional um, environment?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's like, do you think people get more, thinks it's more complicated to deal with this feeling than in other circumstances? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I guess the environment of the professional, it's totally, I don't know how to say that. You are always being judged for someone if you are walking with the some way, if you are using some clothes. So I guess this is a toxic environment sometimes. I don't need to go to the office every day, but when I go, oh gosh, this is so tired. I need to decide, go to the lunch for someone. You need to socialize with the others. I know this is important for ourselves, but sometimes it's hush because you this is a hush, I don't know, this is not so easy because you need to deal with the others. And sometimes I don't know if you had pass for this before, but we have always a person who is pointing to you about your mistakes, like, oh, this was Mel, this is her job. So I guess this is always terrible because instead of help, or just instead of solve this problem in the job environment, the other peoples prefer to appoint to the others and say who was responsible for that mistake. So I believe this, why this, I believe before I believe that is the mean of the environment professional. It's so difficult to deal, right?
Yeah, we are talking about people, and people, each one is different, so we all have to deal with them, and it's not and it's complicated because each one has a single particularities,
Yeah.
so has their own particularities and specificities. So I think it's always complicated, and sometimes in the groups, some people just don't connect with the
Oh,
others, so it
yes.
there is always these little fights, or I don't know how to explain it, but it's also so what can I do to
Yes.
solve that? But
And as a woman, you can see, as a woman, you can see that sometimes just to look for the others, it's like, oh, I don't like that girl. But why? I don't know, but I don't feel something good. And this is terrible because you are making spend years in the company without understand why you cannot be friend for this person. This is really difficult to deal, I guess.
yeah, Camila, can you read and answer the next question? Number
Yes.
4.
Yes. How should we deal with the mistakes we make?
No, number 4.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. If you could give a single piece of advice to a young person, what would it be? Oh gosh, just a single piece. I guess I know this sounds like a cliche, but you don't need to really be so worried about the mistakes in life or the or others' opinions, because this is not about them. This is about yourself. So I had a terrible moments in my life in the company that I was like the only person doing a specific thing. For example, going to the gym at morning. And then the others was like, oh, why she's doing this? So I guess we have to do whatever you want without wait for aprovação for the others. I don't know how to say that in English. Um, I guess this is the single piece of advice that I should give to the others.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that impacts me that I'm trying to change it because I think
Yeah,
it's something, yeah. I like in I'm conscious about it, but it happens. I
yeah,
even trying it happens. So it's something many people should worry, like not worry about, but to think about it, to reflect, and to not to worry about other people's judgments. And also it's like a manipulation, right? It's something they
mm-hmm.
try to make you feel like a bad person, that you made some mistakes, and a mistake does not define who you are. So I think that's mental intelligence.
Yeah,
No, emotional intelligence,
emotional.
that you can manage all of these feelings and thoughts and people around you, and then you can absorb what is good for you and what is not.
Yeah, I guess we don't know how to deal with the different. So if you are different from the group, you are not a good person. So I guess we have to understand the different differences between the others, because you don't need to live in a bubble. We are different and we learn from the difference. So I believe this is the main point. I guess if you don't like, for example, you don't like cake, why you don't like cake, Mel, and you are obligated to accept this because the others are saying that's good for you. This is really crazy for me, I guess.
Yeah, and for me, I'd accept your advice, but I'd say not to be too let me see, not to worry about the future, not to worry too much about the future, because
Hmm.
what that's your actions in the present will define your future. So what you should do is to focus on you now. What are you doing to be better, to develop yourself? That's it. Now that will make you a better professional, a person in the future. What can you do now that can help you to achieve something? You have to have a
Hmm.
goal. You have to have a plan about what you're going to do. And okay, there's some moments in life that we just want to relax a little bit of doing all of this because it's so many things. But then we have to concentrate and to think more about it. What do I want to do with my life? Where do I want to be?
I
So
agree,
I think
Mel.
it's important.
I'm not a young person, but I agree with you. Sometimes we need to change the mindset. We are responsible for our decision and not the others. I spent years of my life thinking about, for example, I need to study, but my teacher is terrible, so I don't learn it. But it's not his or her responsibility. It's my responsibility. So I guess we need to change the mindset for this situation. You have to decide for yourself, not just live without any goals. You have to decide what do you want to do, what do you want to learn, why you are here, something like this, a deep conversation, I guess.
Yeah. And I also saw a video that it was like a fun video,
Hmm.
but it has a message through it. In your early 20s, for example, you're supposed to have a life, but you're not supposed to have a wife or a husband, but you're supposed to have a family, but you're not supposed to have kids,
Yeah.
because you're supposed to have a house, but you're supposed to have the money for it. So you there is always these thoughts, okay, I should do that, but I shouldn't do that, and there's always this. And I think it's this in life, in many moments in life, but that only we can find out, right, our path, our way to what we want to achieve. So I
Yeah.
think that's it. We have
Uh,
to have a point where I'm looking for,
yeah. This is
what I'm.
hard sometimes. I guess the young people right now don't young person cannot understand this, because we have a lot of people, lot of persons to blame. like my father, my mom, my family. I don't have money. I don't live in a good house. But you have to decide that you are responsible for the difference. This is the main point. It's really hard to change this mindset because you can spend years blaming the others. Oh, I am in this situation because my mom is poor. So I guess this is so terrible. And you said something important regarding emotional intelligence. I guess I love to read about these things, but I'm not young. And I guess the young could understand more about this because I know this sounds like a cliche again, but you have to understand yourself to define your goals. I guess this make more sense, I believe.
Yeah, and what you said about to blame someone, there are many people like this in the world, and I can see it because they always say
And not
something.
young, not only young,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
right, very right. Um, yeah, I think there's always something that they blame something. So I do not have a car because, oh, in this moment something happened. I didn't go to the, I don't know where, to the supermarket because of that. It's not because of, you do not like have to have permission or
Hmm.
other people's, o que
Solve
você
your
falou,
life,
solve
right?
your life. You have to do it. It's up to you. It's your life. You're the main character of it.
Yes. Sometimes we
I
are
just,
just saying that the government need to give me a better life. God, it's so crazy. This kid, this is a absolute nut for me. I don't know.
yeah. So let's move on to the next question. Number 5. How should we deal with mistakes we make personally? What about professionally?
Mm.
What can you say?
I am always worried about the mistakes professionally because I know this could the the problems could be bigger than the impersonally. Nowadays, but in personally, nowadays I'm better person than years ago. I guess the pandemic changed my mindset a lot, a lot. I learned how to maybe to understand the others a little bit, or just try to understand the others, or listen what they, because I think everyone has something to learn for us, and I was not like this, that I was like, oh, I know everything. That's okay. That's okay. That's fine. I know. But I believe I learn for the worst way that everyone can teach you something. And even I don't know, the person in your street passing through you, or a person who you don't like too much, I believe you can learn to this situation personally and professionally. We can do the same thing sometimes. As you said, as we are talking before, maybe you don't like the environment that you work, but you have to be there because you are in this place to work, not to be to make friends. Of course, this if you this happen, okay, you can enjoy, but I believe you have to be like aging like adults and realize that you have to be there professionally instead of being like a gossip or worried about the other's opinion, you know?
I know, and I think that's true. Sometimes there are people like they are more, their focus on is on, even at work, it's their friendships there, and talking about
Yeah.
and talking bad things about another person that is in the room, like talking, you know, loud, and the opposite. You get it. Just so they can't hear you, but it's not about the other person's hear you. It's about, you know what you're doing, you know what you're saying. It's not because of they're not listening to you. It's you're good, okay? No, that's
Okay.
not like this. So yeah, what said makes sense, and I think that's true, totally true.
Yeah, well, I guess if you have to be aware about what is your main, I don't know how to say that, if it's correct, main paper in
Mhm.
this situation. Like, I am here to work, so I am doing my work, and sometimes people don't like this kind of person, right? You are focused on your job, trying to improve, and the others don't like too much, I believe.
Yeah, what you said, I think maybe, I don't know, its main role,
Yeah,
are
yeah,
like,
better. Yeah, I don't get it. Perfect. Thank you.
and yeah, I believe in it because you said about it because you're focused on your job. That's what you're
Hmm.
getting paid for, and other people they're just there to gossip about around. They gossip about you because you're doing your job, but they should be
Yes.
doing there too,
Yeah.
and they're not. And they're talking bad about you, and that's it. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of dismotivates you. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
yeah, it's dismotivate people sometimes that are on this purpose, have this purpose. And when this kind of thing happens, I think it's always better to get away from it. It doesn't matter. Maybe you can quit the job even though that's not the what you wanted to do, but because of people like that, they will consume you, they will consume your mentality, your effort
Yes.
to do things. They will um how can I
Change
say,
your way, right?
change your
Change your
way.
way. Yeah.
Yeah, will
I
take all of
guess.
your energy. So maybe
Yes.
that's the point. Maybe you should, even though they should get away from you, they should quit their job. Okay, maybe that's easier for me to quit my job and find another job better for me,
Mm-hmm.
with better people that encourages me to grow up, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. 100%. I had bad experience years ago in companies, but sometimes I was obligated to go to the happy hours just because I needed to be there. So I guess nowadays this is so unusual for me, but I knew that in that time was something important because I was only to be there just because was part of the group or was part of the process to be in the company. So sometimes you have to do these things, but understand that this is not you, right?
Yeah, this is not your goal. This is not
Yeah,
your main role, as you said.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to the next question. Let me see. Number 6. Can you read and answer?
Yes. Is it possible to learn by observing other people's mistakes? Yes, it's totally possible, and I believe this is the shortcut that we can use. As I said before, I love to read books that can teach me something. It's like I don't know this in English, autoajuda, but it's self improvement, I guess. This
Mm.
is a self improvement, but I know we have a lot of judgment here in Brazil about these books. But you can learn about the biographies from the authors, good person that you admire. You can learn from them their life, for example. But of course, if I am watching someone doing something that ends not so good, I can learn something for this. I believe this is the best way to don't say to don't do the wrong thing like the others, I believe.
Yeah, and that's a point where we come back to what we said about having people to judge us, because when you read, for example, maybe there will always be someone to say,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're reading a book, really? Like, do something different. Go to the social media, and all of
Yes,
that."
I used to read in my lunch time in the company. Years ago, when I had to be in person in the company, in my lunch time, I was reading, and every day someone was, "Oh, come on, you need to go with us." you can read later. So this is this nowadays is okay for me. I don't care too much. But in that time, I was like, oh gosh, I just want to read and I cannot do this. So this is a kind of judgment. Of course, this is totally healthy in that time, but we had examples of terrible situations like this, right? So
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and I think the same thing. It's possible. It's possible to learn by observing other people's mistakes, and I think it's so valid. I don't know. It's so much as much as much important as learning from your own mistakes, because it's
Yes.
something. Maybe it's a mistake that we didn't even realize that we could make, but just by observing on other people's mistakes, you understand that maybe you could do that anytime in the future, and now you already learned it. So okay, when it comes the moment to maybe when you will do it, you remember, oh, I already learned this from the other people's mistake, so I'm not going in this way, I'm going there. And that's how we can learn and improve ourselves in many different ways, not just
Yeah.
personally but professionally too, just by
I
observing
guess.
other people's behaviors.
Yes, nice. I guess when you have an opportunity to get a mentor or a professor, I don't know, something to share your life, not like a relationship, but someone that you can share about your goals professionally. This is a good opportunity to learn too, because if you admire someone that had a good point in the a good level in the professional way, you can ask, oh, how can I do to improve my skills? So I guess this is a good way to.
Yeah, to be surrounded by people that already are where you want to be. So not to
Yes.
be around people that just consumes you, your energy, your mental healthy, and then just in the future you just see, oh, I did nothing because I listened to the people that just judged me and said to give up and to be on social medias dancing and all of that.
Yeah,
But
but I had the experience like this. Yeah, of course, I was like I went to happy hours or I watching something without that was not so good for me because was like the I don't know how to say that in English. A moda was the I don't know how to say
trained,
that. A trend,
I
yes,
don't
was
know.
a trend in that time. Could be. I don't know how to say, but I believe trend. So we have a lot of things like, oh, have you watched something like blah 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 blah? Yet I don't know what is this. And the person, oh, how do you know this? You have to watch. You must. And I was like, no.
It
Nowadays I
happened
can
to
say
me.
no. Yes. Nowadays I can say no for real. No worries about it. But years ago I was like, oh, that's okay. I will do it. Okay. It happened to
Yeah,
you?
it happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not really into these strange things or even these things that many people know or
Mm-hmm.
do. I don't know. I just don't know, don't do that. And there that happens many times. Like, did you watch the movie? No,
I
that movie.
know.
No, I didn't. So how come can you say that? But yeah, I think if that's about what you said about happy hours, if
Mm-hmm.
that's something that you want to, that it's for your growth, I think it's so important. But when it's just because you have to, and it's surrounded by people that just judges you or don't doesn't don't want you to be better than them, it's a problem, because people want to see you okay, you good, but
Yeah.
not never better than them.
Yeah.
So it's
I don't know if you had the
complicated.
opportunity to went happy hour and then when you arrive, the other people were talking about the others. So We are not just doing a network, a healthy network. We are doing gossip from the other. So sometimes I decide to spend maybe 30 minutes in a happy hour because I can see that it's not a healthy environment to be something like this, right?
Yeah, and that's when you see the real person, because
Yeah.
in a moment they are doing their job, maybe okay, but then you see the other side of the person. They talking about bad bad things, gossiping, and doing this kind of thing, or doing something they didn't have to, or didn't shouldn't no they
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't do, and all of this. That's when you truly know the person. And
Yeah.
that happens. It doesn't matter. You just maybe have to wait a little bit more, but it will happen if that's a bad situations. But also for the good. If a person is good,
Yeah.
talk good things, or is always um, talking about people, like networking and all of this, you see that too. It's
Mm-hmm.
evident, right?
Yes, or about the conversation was like you can learn something, not about learning like a professional way, but you can see the history of that person can teach you something. It was really interesting, something like a trauma or something like this. And then it was like, oh my gosh, you are dealing with this. So I guess this is the better way to understand the other. But sometimes the conversation makes me more interesting when I can see the history from the others. And I was like, oh my gosh, you are like this, you don't like, I guess this is we have to find a balance. And sometimes you have to do what you don't like to do, but I prefer to be surrounded by good people. And I know this is not often.
Yeah, and it's usually, or it depends, of course, but
Hmm.
when you have when you choose to be surrounded by good people, the good people is like a less quantity. And if you
Yeah.
want to be surrounded by okay people, or people that gossip around, it's many people, because there's so many people. There
It's
are
easy,
different.
right?
Yeah, it's easy to find one like
Yeah.
that, but it's hard to find. It's difficult to find a person that really does their job. And yeah, that's it. They really understand their goals, and
Hmm.
are focused on their jobs and what they have to do, not just what they want to do.
Yeah.
It's
I
different.
love this. I love this kind of conversation.
Yeah, me too. I'm liking it. And let's go to the next question. Can you read and answer it?
Yeah. How important are parents in their children's lives when it comes to correcting mistakes? Oh God, this is a hard
Another topic.
question. Yes, this is a hard question. I guess in my time, was normal to correct the children's. Was normal. Every parent has had the responsibility for correcting the children's, and that I don't know. I don't know for sure because I'm not a mother. I don't have kids, but I nowadays I can see that's not common. The parents are over. I don't know how to terceirizando over. I forgot this word. Outsourcing the responsibility from the education from the children's. So they are like doing the responsibility for the for the teachers from the society, and I guess this make children's like no one is correcting me, so I am right. And when these kids grow up and go to the uh, environment, professional environment, uh, it's a terrible situation when you have to face how the real life is. So I guess this is the main point nowadays. I don't know if I'm say something wrong, but I don't know how old are you, but in my opinion, I guess I sometimes spend my weekend with some kids and it was like, oh my gosh, but I know this different how to educate, how to teach again, or how to correct.
Yeah, I'm 18. I'm young, yeah,
Hmm.
but I have the same thoughts about that you have. I
Yeah.
think that nowadays, like these generations, is like giving up on their childrens and just living their own lives. The parents maybe, and then the kids are being are being are totally like I don't know how to say that, but
Free or just, I don't know.
yeah, free, yeah. And so maybe in the schools, maybe to do something that is not the appropriate things, and the kids is not being watched maybe for the
Hmm.
parents. The
Yeah.
parents don't know how their kids is doing at school or at the college or all of this. So I think it's always important to keep an eye, the two eyes on the children, because it's always complicated. We are talking about a life, a person, so it's different than just a pet, an animal.
Yeah.
But and even with pets, like it's we can see the behaviors, the attitudes that the tutor has over the dog, the cat, just by watching the animal. That's just like the kids. We can see how the kid was um teach taught, I don't know,
Thought. Yeah, I guess
taught,
thought.
yeah.
I don't know. I guess
And
even the
just like,
pets need to be corrected, right? Even the
yeah.
pets. Can you imagine about the children? So if you don't say that it's not good for the children, he cannot realize it by himself or herself. So I guess uh, we can teach for a different way, but I don't know how effectively would be. For example, I had a education really hard, military education, because my father was a military. But I learned that I have to do the right things. So it was not so difficult for me. But sometimes you can see that you have to be more, I don't know, duro ou mais invasivo às vezes with some kids nowadays, and you don't can give a hard education as years ago. So it's a challenge, I believe. I don't want to be a mother, and this is one of the main points. It's really hard to grow up uh, a citizen nowadays, a person or a kid, because you need to take care about everything, about the education, about the being a good person in life. And this is hard, the communication, the way to speak, the way to understand the others. This is difficult.
And maybe for the other people that don't see it that way, you're being too difficult, you're being too hard with the kids. You should just
Yeah.
let them be free.
You cannot say like this with your kids. You need to do something soft. So,
But it's for their better, their best, I don't know. it's
yeah.
it's the better, it's the best thing for them to grow up knowing their values, their what they have to have, what they need to have, like a good relationship with parents, family, or just okay, I have to be a good person. It doesn't matter if I have the chance to chantagear alguém.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to, because I'm not that kind of person. So that happens, and in the other people's eyes, you're being too rough, you're being too hard.
Yes. But
And
I
it
believe
depends on
we
the,
go
yeah,
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
and it depends of the creation of
Yeah.
the way the person was raised. But nowadays
Yeah.
it's even more common, I'd say.
I guess the responsibility, 100% of the responsibility for education, the children should be the parents, from the parents, not the school. The school had a main role of just alphabetizar. I forgot this word. But I guess the parents need to define who is the better way to educate the children and not the school or the government or whatever.
Because, and I think that, uh, or no, or is in French, because no, I don't even know what I'm saying. But I think that the parents are the right people that can guide their children, because
Yeah.
it's not let them be free, that because anybody will take care of them. They will just, the world will going to be the world, and everybody's going to to step on them, and anybody's going to take care of them. So I think the parents should always be their have responsibility to guide, to raise their child in a good way, so that they can be a better person than their parents.
Yes, and be the parents could be an example. Like
Yeah,
I
it's
am
always,
doing this because so I guess this is a good way to teach something. For example, I guess.
yeah. So that's it about this question. Let's move on to the next one. Let me
Okay.
see. Number 8. Does a mistake defines who you are?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I guess in resume all of that we are talking before. I guess the mistakes not define, but change the person who you are. So I was a person years ago. Nowadays, I am different person because I learned from my mistakes, from life, for being with the others. So, and I am doing some mistakes again. So I believe this don't define you because for sure we are learning every day, I guess. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
no.
no problem. I think the same thing. And there are people that just accuse, I don't know, to a point that you did that mistake, what you said, and does not help you to solve the problem. If that's the problem, just help them to solve it. But no,
Ah,
they
okay.
choose to point it that at your face, that no, you did it wrong. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you made a mistake. You're not right. And
Yeah.
they themselves don't do anything because they think maybe making a mistake is bad, it's too bad, that they can't even do anything, so that they just stay there doing nothing and don't have achievements, and
Mm-hmm.
don't have goals, and just criticize other people that have and are trying to be better, to be a better person, to have
Mm-hmm.
goals, to have objectives. And now they just have to listen to these people, but they don't have to have
Yeah.
to listen to people that think that way, that think trying to grow up, to develop yourself is a bad thing, because you will make mistakes. Mistakes are part of life, everybody knows and make mistakes. So it's not okay, I'd say, to normalize that, um, judging people by making a mistake.
Mm-hmm. If you're not
Right?
doing, you're not living correctly, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the sentence. You will never ever be pointed, I don't know, by someone that is doing more than you, because you'll only
Oh.
be judged by people that are doing less than you, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll think that you made a mistake, so you're the bad person, but you are trying to go up and they're not.
Yeah. I guess I don't know how to say that in English, but I know a quote that you have to be surrounded by people better than you, like that kind of cinco pessoas que você convive ali. You have to be always better and not to be the smart on the dinner, for example, because you have to be surrounded by people that can teach you or have the same mindset that you can grow up. So I believe this could help a lot.
Yeah, I see it. So now we have 5 more minutes, so let me see, do we have
Oh,
time
really
for another
fast.
question? Yeah, I think the same thing. Let me see. Do you believe that sometimes? Yeah, we can answer the next one. Number 9. Can you read and answer it?
Yeah. Do you believe that sometimes we exaggerate by worrying too much about a certain situation? How can we avoid this? I am worrying too much about a lot of situations, but I guess this is spend a time to realize that you don't need to do it because this not solve the problem. Not think too much don't solve nothing. So I guess I love to take a time to think, to sleep on the situation and see that what can I do for it. So this is not worth too much, but I want to spend a time to take a time to value the situation, analyze, just to understand and realize that that's okay, that's right. What can I change? So I guess I am worrying too much about a lot of things, but I sometimes I decide to, okay, let's move on, relax, nothing change, live one day. So I believe this is um, a tip because we are always living in the future and this not solve our problems for sure.
Yeah, what we have now is the present. The past
Yeah.
already went through, and the future didn't arrive yet.
Yeah.
So what we have now is the future, is the present, and that's where we can change things, our
Mm.
thoughts, our mindset, our attitudes, and so on. So I think the same thing. And also, what I wanted to say, yeah, I forgot, but that's it. It's there's always, yeah, there's always people that thought thinking too much about the future or too much about the past, but what we have now is the present, and that's where we can um, agarrar the
Yes.
now, the moment. So we
You cannot
cannot
spend the present. You cannot
thinking
spend the
about
present. Yes.
the future or the past.
It's not easy, I know.
Yeah. So that's it, Camila. I just sent the service link on the chat. If you can,
Okay.
just leave a comment about how was the conversation and saying a suggestion about what you wanna talk about in the future in other immersions. And that's it. I hope to see you soon. I have two immersions if you don't know, but I know you know. It's on Tuesdays. So today I had two immersions, and that's 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. If you can, just be there in any time that you can. That you will be so welcome. That's it.
Thank you very much, Mel. I love
Thank
it.
you for being here.